You know what, folks? We've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to have one of our specials, which is every month we're going to have an episode at the end of the month. We're going to talk about a particular thing, either a series, a comic, something like that. And we've each picked an item. This is Jabba's month. So obviously I need my crew to talk about this, because this took me out. I'm not going to lie. This was not what I was expecting. And I was like, holy cow, but it was so endearing. But I just, at a point, I'm running late. So now they're running late. It's crazy. It's my door. It's my doorbell. It's my new doorbell, because the knocking was weird. Let's see who it is. It was Jabba. Look, you put me through it the last couple weeks, so we're going to talk about it.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot going on. No, but it was great. I absolutely enjoyed it. But again, I'm running late, so you're running late. And now Robert's running late because I'm running late. That's probably Robert right now. That's the Arnold Schwarzenegger doorbell that I just bought last week on Amazon. Robert, yes. Okay. Look, I don't know if you feel the same way that I do. We need to get and talk about this, because I was not expecting this. I have thoughts. I have feelings.
I got plenty of thoughts.
But you know what? I was completely... Folks, we've got a lot to talk about. We have our summer spotlight special for June. This is Jabba's episode to pick. But first off, we got to start the show in a proper way. Is that okay? We're going to do it? All right. Jabba, are you ready? Trade his thumbs on Hulu. Amazing. Robert, are you ready?
Yes.
Outstanding. I'm ready. Let's get into it. I'm not paying $1,000 for a damn game console. All right, let's go. Thanks, folks. Look, aside from that game console comment, geek culture, I love it. Oh my god, capitalism at its best. Hey folks, welcome once again to our Summer of Geek series for this summer. Obviously, Summer of Geek, it's the same thing. This is just us having fun and talking about the things that we don't normally get to talk about during the rest of the year. And I figured, no, let's have some fun this summer. It's hot. There's a lot going on. We've got blockbusters. We've got series. We were able to catch up on stuff because you don't have a lot of new seasons of things going on. So that's the point of this. But first, we're going to have to do introductions, because we want you to know who we are. I am Antonio Pomares, a.k.a. The Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room, and quite possibly the angriest today. And there we go.
It's your girl, Jabba Chan. It's the middle of the week. I'm tired. Just burnt out.
Yeah, sure.
It's Robert Jeffrey II, aka Rob the Writer. So
one of the best writers. I mean, I feel like that needs to be in there too. One of the best, most solid writers you can possibly find out there.
Appreciate that.
Bottom line. So our summer spotlight series, basically what this is, like I said, each of us have picked a movie, a comic, a series, what have you, something in geek culture to spotlight each month. Jabba this month has had June. So Jabba, what did you choose for us to speak on?
So this came out, I'm surprised it's already been 2 years that this has been out. I chose Black Cake. That's on Hulu. And it was based off of a book. I came across because, Hulu has their decent advertisements. And I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. And I'm like, there's a little bit of murder going on. I'm like, I like my murder series. I'm like, I'm gonna go watch it. And I'm like, I need more. And people don't talk about it as much. Like, they need to know about this.
Yeah, this it's a book by Charmaine Wilkerson.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen it there, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I hadn't really thought about it. I thought it was something more supernatural, because a lot of the Hulu has a nice mix of stuff, but a lot of things that come across my feed, just because of what I watch, because algorithms and hearing everything, it's more like supernatural stuff, westerns, anime, like things like that. And so I was like, oh, okay. Then when you said Black Kick, I was like, all right, cool. And I started watching it like a ways back, and I was like, oh, I don't really know what this is. Then I stopped, and then when you was like, I was like, okay, I'll start. So I started, and I started watching it, and I was like, oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. I didn't know what I started being Beyonce. Like, I didn't know how to react. I was like, wow, this is but an incredible watch.
Yeah. I so this is one of those shows that I remember, when it came out, I remember the trailers for it, and I was like Jabba. I was like, okay, this might be like a true crime murder mystery, kind of a period piece. And we don't normally get a lot of those, when it comes to just PLCs or Black folks. And so I was like, and I wanted to watch it, but it's become this thing of your watch list continues to stack up, and then you forget about it the older I get. So unless I'm like really on it, I forget it. I forget about it. But I was like extremely like hyped, when I saw the trailers for it. So when you suggested it, I was, first of all, excited. I was happy that you suggested it, and because it gave me a reason to go back and watch it. And for some reason, I think this came out maybe like around the time that Hulu's Kindred adaptation of Octavia Butler's book came out. So like Hulu, Hulu was on this like kick of where between that and there was it was a adaptation of a comic strip called I think it was called Woke. By Night. So like Hulu was, kind of doing it, for a minute as far as like a variety of shows featuring Black leads and a Black experience. So when I watched this, I was happy that you suggested a Jabba. So thank you for that. But like Antonio said, I was not ready. I was not ready for how good the show was and how deep in the paint it goes, I guess, with a lot of things. The other thing I did a little bit of homework, and the showrunner originally had a 3-season plan for the show. And because TV is what it is, they only got the one season. So just keep that in mind, for anybody watching this, that they did have plans for like multiple seasons. And I'm going to go and pick up the book myself, because I would like to see where the book goes. If it goes any further than what we got. But yeah. So I'm definitely excited to talk about this, or happy to talk about this.
And just for correction, I'm sorry, it'll be almost 3 years, because it came out at the December 3rd of 2023. But like I said, I really didn't pick up on shows after the new year. So
yeah, this is one I wasn't expecting. Like I said, I was looking at, when I was watching, I was looking at it as it was a limited series. So that was how I treated it. First of all, I haven't read the book either, but stellar casting. Absolutely enjoyed every bit of it. Everybody played their part in such a great way, and it was such a great ensemble piece, but still focusing on more on Mia Isaac playing Covey, but then also phenomenal casting in casting the older version of Covey, Eleanor, in Chipo Chung. I hope I'm pronouncing the name properly.
Yeah.
Because I thought that they were the same person. I thought they were just aging her, and I was like, damn, she's got incredible range. She's playing all these years.
That's what I thought too at first.
Because she looks so much. I was like, yeah. Then when I looked at the cast, I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. A couple people I know, obviously, Glenn Turman. I mean, look, we go back like Cooley High, JD's Revenge,
Different World,
the Colonel.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was the only one I recognized out of like the entire cast until I saw Ashley Thomas. Because I'm like, he looks familiar too, and I remember him being in obviously I saw a clip of it. Was it the Skin? If you remember that short, or it was like a short. Yeah, it was like a short film.
Skin.
Pretty much, unfortunately, it's obviously about like a race thing where he gets beaten by this white group of people, and they short story goes into revenge, tattoos the white boy all black, and his son who was white got scared, and he shot the black man. In a sense.
Oh, wow.
That does sound a little familiar. The tattooing part sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. You'll probably see it on them, and he also played as in them as well. But
Okay.
them meaning the I know there's two versions of it. It's them with Luke James and what's her name? Deborah. I'm gonna mess up her last name. Please forgive me.
This is the first season, correct?
It's the first season, yeah.
The season that I won't get past episode 3.
Y'all did better than me.
All right, dude. That was.
Well, one thing I will for Ashley Thomas, his face, he's in a Netflix movie called Hostage. So I'm just now realizing that he's British because I've only seen him in the trailers. Because in the trailers he's speaking with that accent. So not until checking his IMDb, I was like, oh, that's the same brother. But I still need to see the movie. But yeah, aside from him, nobody else. I didn't, and I think sometimes that's good, right? To have a cast of maybe one known actor and maybe people that you don't know. But yeah, Glenn Turman, my wife kept calling him the Colonel, when we would watch it. And that's another thing. I pulled up the first episode, and I think my wife had her headphones on, and when she started kind of half listening, half watching, she took both of her headphones off, and she's been watching the series with me. If anything, I need to finish up the last 2 episodes with her. I finished them up, but I'm gonna rewatch it with her. Because she enjoyed it. So yeah, so like I said, I know how it ends, but so yeah, but as far as the cast, it was excellent. One question that I did have, because I'm not from Jamaica, my dad's side of the family goes back to Grenada, but that's 2 generations back. So I wonder I don't know if y'all know, how did they do with the accents, or with the parts when they were in Jamaica, or does anybody know how that was kind of?
Okay, so I'm only saying this from association and being around Jamaican people. For at least from my experience, I've seen people have different accents depending. And I don't know, it's because depending on how long they've been in the States versus how long they've been back in Jamaica. So it's kind of hard to tell. I knew a person whose grandmother had the thickest Jamaican accent. I can only understand SVU. That was it. But the mom, we had a better conversation because I can understand in between. So what are your thoughts, Antonio?
Every damn episode. Swear to God. From what I can gather, I'm gonna say it kept me immersed.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say that it was this. I didn't realize that that Cubby's father was Asian until they actually mentioned it. It didn't even. I just thought that he was light skinned because of the way, kind of the way they were showing his face. It didn't dawn on me.
Oh, I could.
And
tell.
then they said he was Asian. I was like I looked up and I was like, wait, what? And it threw me off. So little things like that, kind of immersed me more into it because, I was just there and I was like, oh, okay. And it got me looking more at the characters and the details of them. And because this is a character driven thing, so it made me pay more attention to the characters. And that, but I thought, it kept me in it. So I want to say that the accents were all right. Also, like Job was saying, there's different dialects. And I don't know my family does not come from Jamaica. My family is from somewhere else. Some places we don't know, unfortunately, because of the slave trade. Thank you. So, I can't really speak on it. I just know that as far as me and my base level of, you know, like it wasn't like Steven Seagal movie,
So
like Jamaican
yeah.
accent. That's like the bar of how low it is. That, and there's another one too. There's something else. There's another movie or series that has really bad Jamaican accents. It's those two things, and I'm like, it's not Steven Seagal,
Yeah.
so I'm good.
Yeah, because
You
the
know
only
what I
other
mean?
one I could compare it to is like Cool Runnings, as a close thing to like a Jamaican accent.
There's one of the reason I asked is because the actress who plays young Covey, Maya Isaac, she's from Atlanta. So so I was just like, I thought they did a really good job between that and also capturing the culture, you know, because there was even you know, one of the things that stood out to me, at least in the past, was you have the differences in terms of like socioeconomic strata. So like you have you know, when Gibbs talked about his parent, you know, his family, like they had money before they had to sell the land. And then you saw people like Kobe's father, who was a business owner, and then the lady who was a friend of the family, but she was not a housekeeper, but she worked for them, right? So
Yeah.
I like that there was this varying degrees of like, you know, people, different experiences living on the life. Like Kobe wanted to be, her and her friend wanted to be swimmers. Gibbs was like, I'm about to be a lawyer. Her dad was like, well, no, I'm going to fight these chickens and make this money, you know, that type of thing. So it's just like, you know, sometimes when it comes to things that focus on people of the diaspora, we only get one side, you know, kind of one experience. And I liked that specifically because, like I said, I don't know the history of as much as, you know, other places, like about, you know, when it comes to Jamaica. And we got this period of time. And also one big thing that's going to be a constant throughout this is that I like that the focus was on Black people. Like I love that it was a period piece. And there are moments in this where we run afoul of them. But for the most part, it was about our experience in dealing with our family issues and anything else. And it wasn't like it. I just don't. I like that we were central, and it wasn't just about these like, you know, it was like the racist whites, and they exist, but it's just like we're telling our own stories here. So that was a huge thing for me.
Yeah, I know for me, like in the first episode, like maybe like the first two episodes, I know when Eleanor or Cubby, however you want, like, you know, name her, because she lived two lives, well, multiple lives at this point. I liked how she wasn't like a stereotypical Black character in a show. Like Homegirl was surfing, and like that's something that you really do not see in any type of like, you know, TV show that at least that I've watched that's like centered around Black folk, and especially because she also swims. That's also got me, because I do like to swim, and you don't see a lot of people of our color swimming, because we always have like that trope where like Black people don't know how to swim. But I was like, no, my mama trained me. She's like, you need to know how to swim for safety measures, and also if you want to get into Olympics one day. So that's what I like to see, because you don't see that, because most times it's like either like, okay, even if you're from like, you know, outside the United States, like they're gonna like, you know, work within the business like of like their parents' business, like they might just like stay in like a small like, you know, century of like, you know, their town, where like they're not gonna venture out. But like I liked how they had ambition, where like I want to go out, I want to do this, I don't want to stay here. And that's what I appreciated the most.
Yeah, it was. Oh, first, you know what? Let me actually give the basis of the theme of the actual series. So basically, the series opens up and Eleanor, is out surfing. She ends up getting hurt. She goes to the hospital. They find out she has cancer. She ends up dying. Then her son and her estranged daughter get together with her attorney, and she has, what is it, 7 recordings for them to listen to?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. 7, or I think it was 7 altogether, or 8, because I think it was actually like supposed to be like one per episode, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But then it kind of branched out because she had a couple of others for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Like Tupac releasing albums.
For real. And her son and her daughter get together and they all listen. And the rules are that she said they both have to be there to listen to them. So they're listening, and they find out that Ellie has had this secret life as Covey in Jamaica. I forgot what her full first name was.
Covenita, something Coventina.
Yeah, Coventina Covey
Coventina.
Brown.
Yeah, Coventina.
And it tells of her life on Jamaica when she was a young girl. And like Job was saying, where she was trained to be a swimmer, her and her friend Bunny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trained to be a swimmer. And her father, her mother is gone. Her father is Asian, and he's had his store for like generations, whatever. And he's a gambler. And with his gambling debts and everything, he ends up basically selling his daughter into marriage at the age of 16 to Little Man, who is not a little man. It's a grown-ass man, probably in his 30s, possibly 40s.
I'd say 40s.
I want to say.
Yeah.
I think he might have had kids.
Probably, yeah. Because it's him and his brothers are like the local organized crime, let's say.
Yeah.
The local heavies. And she, at the wedding ceremony, her husband dies suddenly. And she sees it as her moment to run. And she runs and she fakes her death. And then she goes to Scotland?
London.
No, London.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this whole, whether she goes to London, she goes to Scotland, she goes to America, she goes all over, and each episode basically is a part of her life that she's lived, and her children do not know this. They do not know about her life there because she is also being thought that she could be a part of the murder of her husband, as it is rolled, and we go from there. There was so much. Every episode, I was like, "Oh my God, please!" My anxiety and my nerves were on 11 every episode. Because this isn't the type of thing I usually watch. I don't normally watch, like, I enjoy dramas and period pieces, but I don't like seeing Black people go through it.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. I don't like Black people going through it, particularly Black women going through it, because I know at a certain point, there are going to be things that happen to them. And right now, I'm going to drop a trigger warning. There will be discussions about domestic violence and sexual assault. As it pertains to this story, and she just goes through it. But it's Ms. Isaacs did such a phenomenal job in weathering every single possible thing that Ellie could go through. And what was her name again? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, which one?
Miss Chung. Who played, who played older Ellie, because I'm trying to like differentiate between Covey and Ellie, but at a certain point she became Ellie, so now it's like I'm trying to separate the two of them. Did such an amazing job of showing the consequences, and even when she was reading into it, because she's not in very many scenes when you think about it, it's more we're hearing her voice than anything. And she does such an incredible job with her voice acting that you feel her trauma, you feel her regrets of holding the secrets, you feel the trauma and the pain of her reliving these situations that have gone through her life, whether they were good or bad, whatever. Seeing her love again in Gibbs, talking about the ocean, talking about swimming, talking about her mother, talking about her father. Every character is a layer of an onion.
Yeah.
And peels it away. And everyone did such a great job. I would love to talk about the siblings, B and B, which I absolutely loved the way she referred to them. That was so endearing, and I absolutely loved that. Benny and Byron, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Irene. Sorry, I throw it in there just a little bit.
Yes, I know you did, Jabba. I know. The siblings. Give me your thoughts on them. I absolutely loved them.
They were like the perfect set of siblings on how like chemistry wise, which I enjoyed because I could see that all happening in real time with like an actual sibling because like we all have our dramas. We all have our dramas, and it works so well. Especially, I know we're probably gonna be jumping around like per episode, but like when Byron came to defend Benny after realizing what Benny was going through, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm with you, man. Knock him out. I don't want to spoil it too much because I want people to watch the show since it's still on Hulu.
Well, the book's been out for a while and the series been so, but yeah, we can talk about that stuff. That's fine.
Just say mini spoilers. I don't know. Like because I was so for the two of them. I enjoyed the relationship. I enjoyed that each of them had their own kind of issues that they were dealing with. So they were these kind of complexities. Byron with his, being straight up, is he the token black when it comes to his chosen, his job, his career, or the company he was working with, and then with Benny, questioning, her worth, when it came to her family, her career, the imposter syndrome side of things, which is like where I was like, that was there are several personal things in this series that kind of hit me, and I wasn't expecting that. That was one of them. But especially what she deals with when it comes to the domestic abuse and being in that relationship with Steve. There were times though where I kind of understood them, but like their frustration with their mom for not being honest with them was I'm just being honest. It was irritating to me. And I don't want to say it spoke to a selfishness, but I understand like the frustration. But as more of the story was told, you can understand why. It's one of those things where you have to understand where your mother might have been holding this close to her chest. So even though like I felt they were well-developed characters, I enjoyed them both. There were moments of irritation. I got to admit it. When it came to kind of how they were reacting to some of the information. But this is something I think it's kind of speaks to, we were talking about this before, Antonio, like this is another show where we see a complexity of Black folks, like Black experiences, with stories that are being told. And I like that, this was something that was, when it came to actually both of them dealing with mental health, which is not something that we get discussed. We have it more nowadays, I think, when it comes to TV and film, when it comes to Black people. But I love that about this show that, they were dealing with, things that, things that were, I guess, anxiety, stress, like from a variety of different places. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think that I didn't get annoyed because I kind of understood what they were saying, when they were upset because their whole lives were basically a lie. Because even she goes, oh, so we're like Asian as well. Like it was like something they knew. And I think it also came from the fact that they're finding out all this after they're still grieving because she's only been gone for 8-9 days.
Yeah.
And it's also the fact of they're not being, everything she's telling them, they're not able to converse with her, to talk with her about it. So I think that's part of their frustration too, is not being able to have that conversation with her. Especially Benny, because Benny hadn't seen her in, what was it, 8 years, you said?
No. 8 years, yeah.
8 years. So I think even that too. So I think it was again, complexity of them hearing about all this last minute and not being able to help or console or do anything about it. Or just even have just have that back and forth conversation with her, like, well, what was your life like? What was this? Also, their father being gone and him not knowing some of this stuff, which I can understand as well. Like, I can understand not knowing about your wife being assaulted or her not telling you that. I can understand that. Or, like not knowing about another child. Spoiler alert. Well, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Even that. So I can understand their frustration to a point of not being able to have that. And they're still grieving too. I don't know which. I think in a way they were kind of still going through their stages of grief too.
Yeah.
In different sections, obviously, but that was just another thing that they had to navigate and maneuver, and they did it well. Of that, I wish we could talk to her about this because, wow, and again for it to be told to them, and they could hear it in her voice too, how she had regret and not telling them the truth of everything, even though that story was, I mean, for reasons she didn't tell them. It wasn't because she wanted to hold us, because safety wise, even too,
Mm-hmm.
like not being able to. So since I let the cat out of the bag, at the end of episode, what is it, 6, 5 or 6?
Are you talking about the reveal of who? It's episode 7.
Episode 7, where no, where we find out that there's another sibling.
Oh, that's
it's
5 or 6. 5 or 6.
That's episode 6. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We find out that there's another sibling. Is it Matilda?
Mm-hmm.
Mabel.
Mabel, yeah. We found out about her. Another interesting character, because she is a white path character who does not know that she was adopted. She thinks she's white. And then for her to find out that she's not only black, but also there's Asian ancestry and well. Meanwhile, she's talking about all of these cultures and their cooking and their food, and is just about to be canceled on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And Benny has a great line where she goes, well, I mean, you can't be canceled now because you could just tell them that you were black the whole time. And I sat there and I was like, that's a perfectly Benny line. And I've only known you for like 7 episodes. And I know that that's something that you would say on a regular. The reveal of this at the end, because you kind of figure the Mabel is a child that was conceived through sexual assault, while Ellie is in Scotland working at
it was like a clerk office, I believe.
I'm gonna say that it was a textile factory. I don't know why, but that's what I'm gonna say. And she was keeping the books.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think everything in Europe that looks like that is a textile factory. I don't know why. I think it's just movies of just, it's a textile factory. I'm like, what do you do? And nobody ever says what it is. It's fine. What have you? And then she finds out that she's pregnant. This was a very complex story beat. We don't get very many characters who are the children of sexual assault and who are given such depth and range and given so much to do. Aside from our obviously favorite Captain Olivia Benson on Law and Order SVU, who is a child of sexual assault, which we find out in the first season. How do you feel that impacted the story, the appearance of Mabel, and then Mabel not really knowing about finding out in that way?
I mean, from an adult perspective, like, you grow up, like, thinking that like you're the only child and like these are your parents or whatever, and then finding out where exactly you came from and how exactly you came to be here, that's a lot. And then to find out that most likely, I think the father's also dead as well too, or whatever.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
yeah, because I think he's older.
Yeah, so both of your bio parents are gone at that point too. She came and talked to them, so it's like, what do you do with that?
I liked her introduction. Because it kind of one of the questions that I had at a certain point was how are we going to kind of extend these secrets out, right? So like we have 8 episodes and we have a set story to tell. So when you have the realization that she had a baby as a result of the sexual assault, I was just like, wow, so this is um, we're telling that story, right? Because even the way that they present that, and that gets into something later on that I actually enjoyed the structure of some of the episodes. But when we got Mabel, it was this thing of like she's white passing. I think Benny at one point says, "Oh, she's light skinned, right?" And I think I turned to my wife and I was like, "Who wrote this episode? It had to be one of us, right?" And so that gets into, there was even a movie on Netflix about with Tessa Thompson about where she was white passing, right?
Oh, I think it was called Passing. That was
it literally is. Yeah,
it's literally called Passing. There we go. Like
that's a good movie too. If you want to watch that, put it on your key, everybody.
My memory is shot to heck. So anyway, so I like that side of things where we're dealing with race, and then her dealing with her parents, not telling her, because one of the common threads that I always hear when you watch these shows or movies about adoption is that just wait till they get old enough, right? Her parents were like, bump that, just wait until we die, right? So even if and that's the thing, like the fact that they did not even have that conversation with her is crazy, right? When she was of age, or at least at a point where she could understand that, because that's one of the things that Covey and the lawyers say, is that we thought that she would have known, right? And then that she would have been told by her adopted parents. And so when she finds out that she actually has her real mother, that's why she has a reaction that she has, or at least part of it, because her parents haven't even told her ish. And the other thing that I love is that she's a successful author. She's a successful, it's like an author meets, like she's a culinary author. And as a huge fan of like cooking shows and travel shows, I just love the Black excellence in this show. Like it just, everybody was making money and just doing their thing. But I think that her birth, who she is, kind of opened up another door of story to tell when it comes to like sexual assault, when it comes to when she goes into the place, her mother goes into the place for unwed mothers. Like this is the story expands, and in a very dark way, but it's just like now you have another child who has these like complex issues that she's dealing with because of like who she is and where she's from. So it was something I wasn't expecting, but I like I said, I enjoyed the character, and I love seeing her with her siblings. And they accepted her.
Yeah.
There's a point, she continuously says B&B, but there's a point when she finally comes out about Mabel, and I don't know if it was me just hearing it or if it was actually meant to be said, but when they start doing the recordings and Mabel's has to be there, she says BMB.
Oh, BM.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I heard it and I was like, oh. And then I was thinking, wait, she's been saying BMB the whole time, and now that that Mabel is there, they might listen to all the recordings together again. I'm not sure like how they were gonna. I'm not sure how, but I swore. But again, maybe it was me, but I swore that I heard BMB, and I was like, oh wow, because that feels like, again, I don't know the character. I did not write the book. I didn't read the book, but from what I know about Ellie, that feels like something that she would have said because of how endearing and how much she loved her children. How much she loved everyone, but people didn't really know that she was even keeping tabs on them. Like Etta, played by CCH Pounder. I did not know Sister was going to roll up, but I'm always so glad to see you, Miss Pounder. Thank you so very much for being there. She is a gift that will continuously give. I don't care if she's a movie for 2 minutes. I'm good. She's one of those actors who she shows up and I'm like, this is going to be good. She got this. Whether it's voice acting, whether it's a television show, whether it's a movie, she's one of those people. We need to talk more about CCH Pounder. We need to talk more about Glenn Turman. these black actors who have been around for so long and who have been holding us down doing it, and who have been such positive and beautiful representations in their work. They just do it all. But somebody in a review of the book did say there's a lot of different names for characters and it was a little confusing for them. Reading this, I could understand why that might be confusing. Because Etta was Bunny. And then you have Benny was what was her full name? Benita? No. I'm trying to remember what Benny's full name was.
Bunny Pringle. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong character.
At least in the IMDb, they just have it as Benny Bennett. Like that was
Benny
like
Bennett.
already tongue twisters trying to say that 5 times fast.
So,
yeah, because
names.
Yeah, because Gibbs was like a nickname. That wasn't his like formal name. So I can understand why people might say this. So Etta, who was Covey's best friend in Jamaica, and who ended up coming out to her and telling her, and she was like, "Oh, well, what type of guy?" She's like, "I don't like it." And she's like, "So what's your type?" She was like, "You are my type." I thought that was such a poignant...
that I wasn't expecting it either. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That was a moment that caught me because it was very poignant, soft, but also scary. Because at that time, in that place, being gay, being bisexual, being anything but straight, or being anything but closeted, even, let's say, was extremely dangerous. And then we see a bit of what Benny has been through in her life. How do we feel about Benny? Oh, excuse me, Bunny. See, this is the problem. Yeah, I can understand why people got reading this must have been hell. So I can understand why watching it you kind of see, because how that could be confused. How do we feel about Bunny?
Okay, at first, when she first came in, she got my nerves.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you're the bestie, but you too damn clingy. Like, back up.
I was mad at the wedding reception. I was mad that she was celebrating. I was like, why are you celebrating? And then I have to trust the process.
Yeah, because at first, like I said, when she first came on, I'm like, okay, she's the best friend, that's fine. But then I'm like, okay, homegirl's a little bit too clingy for me. I'm like, I don't like her. Push her in the water or something. like tell her to get away from me. But then, as like you said, trust the process. I'm like, okay. Then I felt bad because I'm like, for one thing, I felt bad because if I'm correct, I don't think they ever meet up again after that, right? After the kid, yeah. So it's like, I kind of feel bad because like you told your best friend, like, you got feelings, and then it's like, okay, obviously she rejects your feelings, and then you go to her wedding, and then there's murder scene going on, and then she disappears. I'm like, okay, now what?
I liked her because she seemed to be ride or die from the beginning, and we see, aside from just her friendship, she has an attraction to someone who is not returning it in that way. I'm trying to think. She stepped up, because like I said, the last 2 episodes are fresh because I knocked them out today. She steps up when nobody else is able to. I can't say willing to, right? Because we see Gibbs. I'm sorry, when Gibbs was posted up in the bushes, I kind of laughed a little bit because I was like, somebody might see you. He was, because the brother was in the bushes like, I'm about to. Yeah, like exactly like that.
His silhouette is so strong. I was like,
so I think that was the only moment that I laughed at. But then also, Eleanor was like, I'm trying to like not spoil, but when she says, I'm going to do this action at this time, and then Bunny says, that's too late. Like, that is too late. So her her going from when they first introduced her and Covey swimming to to when there's a when we see her older. I really enjoyed her, and as just being a very close friend, and somebody who wanted to support her friend when she was going through it in like the worst way. The other thing that I appreciate about this show, and Bunny is a representation of that. There's so many shades of black in this show, from like mixed light skin, chocolate, which I think Bunny was, and then like Gibbs is like he's a darker hue. So there was so she it reminded me, us talking about her just kind of reminded me of that. That being a kind of a thing in the show. But yeah, I love CCH Pounder. Like I should have mentioned, like I remembered that she's the only other actor or actress that I know of, from previous stuff, her and Glenn Turman. So but yeah, when she showed up, I was like, oh, look at Amanda Waller. Just I was excited.
When they showed up to the signing with the picture, I was like, oh, what's about to happen here? Yeah. And it was, I love seeing CCH Pounder, but I love seeing what happened with young Bunny once Covey became Eleanor. And her trying to assimilate, trying to fit in, even going so far as to having sex with one of the young men. And that was one of the most like just trying scenes, like literally and figuratively, because she's really like, maybe I'll like, and she's like, this isn't what I like, but this is what is expected of me.
Yeah.
And you can see there's nothing there. There's no joy, there's no passion, there's no love, there's nothing there. And it wasn't the young man. Excuse me, I don't know why my voice cracked there. It wasn't the young man. It was that, because he even says, is this what you want to do? Do you want? And she goes, yeah. And she lets him. And we don't know what happens after that. For some reason, I'm thinking, again, I haven't read it, but I'm thinking in my head, in headcanon, she went on to try and she had a marriage with someone, she didn't have kids, and it just didn't work out. And now that she's at her age, she's able to be free and be who she is. Or maybe just the fact that she has that unrequited love with Covey. Because I want to say that Covey was her first love, her first true love, like that her heart called out to. And the actress, what is her name? I'm trying to look up her name. Who played Bunny?
Lachey Anderson.
Thank you. There's such a number. Like I said, everybody in this series just there's just so much there. It's just awesome. When I keep alluding to the fact of Covey becoming Eleanor, that again is a whole other. There was some wild stuff in this movie. I was like, this woman has lived, at least 3 lifetimes, legitimately. Covey and a young girl named Eleanor become very good friends in London, in the housing that she's living in, and they're on a train to Scotland.
Oh, no.
Yes. And there's a train accident. And you think, okay, it's going to be some smooth sailing from here. We've had a lot so far. Can we get something nice? And they're having tea and they're about to like clink glasses. And there's a train accident. Train is derailed. Ellie is dead. Covey is alive. She makes a very huge decision and says, I have to, in order to be safe, I have to do this. So she takes the identity of Eleanor, and her life changes again. I was so not expecting that, and I felt like, oh, that's wow. All right, and it was almost this thing like, oh well, you know what, you all look alike. That was how I felt when she said it. I was like,
Yeah, that was one of the discussions we had in the Jeffrey household. That is the epitome, the epitome of the term that white folks think we all look alike. Because I was like, no, they both are fair skinned, but
Mhm.
that's where the similarities end. Now, the thing that I will give the show is that we never saw Eleanor's body. We don't know how badly she was bruised or burned. We see her from a blurry vision, from Covey's blurry vision, like lying on
Mhm.
the ground. So when we get to the hospital and she says like, "Oh, Eleanor," and she keeps calling her that, that was one. It didn't take me out, but it was like that's where like my head canon had to be like, okay, this sister had to be so bad off that they were just like, well, she's the only black person on the train. Let's give her, the name or whatever. So I was, that wasn't as bad as the brothers standing in the bushes, but that was just like I said, like, yo, I need these white folks in this show to like do a little bit better than thinking we all look the same.
But at
Yeah,
that time in Europe, I was like, all right, I think they also said that she had Eleanor's ID in her pocket or something like on her person.
I don't know. Like I think because like we've been true crimed out like in this country, like to the point where if it's not SVU, it's the latest Netflix special where they are like, these are all the steps that we take to identify a body. So I understand definitely like, it being a majority, Caucasian country, especially Scotland, probably less diverse than London, but it was just a moment where I understand for the purposes of the story that we're telling, like this is how she becomes Eleanor. And I will say that moment on the train, that took me out because I was just like, I think like the effect of it falling over. I don't even know like if we know what happened, but I know it's like it's either hit or it derails or whatever. But
I want to say derailed.
derails. Okay.
I think
So
so.
that effect of them like flying around the debris, I think somebody gets hit in the face or something. It is one of the drawing moments, like if you have a problem with violence, like in the it kind of takes you aback a little bit. But or at least like accidents like that. So if you have a trigger for that, then that might be something you want to skip over. But I that definitely did kind of push me back in my seat. I was like, whoa. So
I mean,
that was wild.
That episode, I was so happy. Like, she's getting on the train and, like, she was having, like, making friends, and all of a sudden shit hits the fan. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Every episode felt like you were on 11 and you were waiting for something to happen and it didn't. But then when she does get to Scotland and she gets the job and then she's assaulted,
Yeah.
my whole soul dropped when her boss sexually
upset.
assaults her. I don't like watching sexual assault in movies, series, what have you. I normally will fast forward or I will just not deal with that scene. I just don't. It takes something away from me. But I know that it's unfortunately it is a part. I don't know how to say this properly, and I apologize for my words too. In this, it is something that is a completely disgusting act that happens to people, whether you are male, female, non-binary, trans, whatever your gender identity is or is not. And to see it happen, especially when it's a story about a young black girl, in all around white people and around nothing but white people. And this older man is taking this shine to her, and I'm sitting there like, I want to believe, but I know history.
I knew that was gonna happen.
And he was just lulling and lulling and lulling, and it happens. But then you find out that the girl was like, I tried to warn you. And I was like, no, just say the damn words. Don't try. But then again, I realized who the words were coming from. And she's like, well, it happened to me as well. And I'm thinking it probably happened to every girl in there.
Yeah.
Because they all, when she came back into the office, they knew. she was the only one that said something, I think, but they knew. I think if she had maybe went to dinner, they might have said something to her,
Mm-hmm.
like outright, but they all knew. She was the only one who said something, and she was like, she did it. He did the same thing to me.
But I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick. What would have been worse? Her. I mean, obviously,
Mm,
I know it's her getting assaulted is worse, but I'm saying either besides her being a new person and the new shiny toy
mm-hmm.
that the boss is liking, if he would have not touched her, but he did it to every other girl, and she still be isolated from the group because he left her alone, but he messed with everybody else.
I,
You're asking which one is worse?
I'm just saying it's like how would you feel? It's like, okay, if you go in, you're the new person, new shiny toy, boss on you. Boss did every single thing to everybody else, but you would get criticized by the rest of the team, be isolated even more, versus even though it happens, you get a little bit of sympathy from them where they don't come down on you so hard. Because if you remember in the beginning when she came in, they were throwing her the books, giving her like the new person treatment.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it happened, then they started to feel better. And they started like give some type of sympathy. It's like, okay, now you're in the club.
well, I mean,
I think that was like a hazing kind of a thing. I think that was that. I think, but the one girl said, like she tried to, in her own like really low key, extremely low key way of warning her, like, oh, you know what, you dress like this, you're gonna, like, she was trying to warn her, but I was like, just say it. But again, I have to think this time period, over in Scotland. I don't know how things are in Scotland, but this time period, and what have you. And this dude even had her over to his house for dinner with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all are, I don't want to say y'all are better than me. As soon as she hit that door to the place, they were racist. I'm sorry. Like there was definitely, I think there definitely is a discussion to be had about them all being victims of sexual assault when it comes to this guy. But the vibe that I was getting from them, and I still don't think that woman was trying to warn her, because like when she said the comment about her outfit, that read to me at least like, oh, you don't know how to dress for a job like this. You don't dress conservatively because you have never had a job like this, at least from that woman's perspective. And then when they dropped all that stuff on her desk, that just reads as like racism for me. She was, and I'm not saying that was because we some of the parts of this show focus on that, actually a large part of it, but that I don't, even though I think that all of them were victims as much as she was, as she becomes, even that conversation that, I don't even know this woman's name, but the main one that was, she comes in the bathroom and she essentially tells her to kind of buck up and deal with it, right? But
yeah.
The only sympathy that I think that she gives her at that point is just like, okay, so you've gone through this, now just move on. But like for me, everything, and that might just be like my jaded view on things, but I just felt that they were treating her like crap because she was the black woman. And I don't think that they would have even warned her or even tried to. That's just at least where I was. I mean, where I saw it when it came to her and those the office bull or the typist bull or whatever it was.
I think it's just, again, like Job was saying, I think if he hadn't done anything to her, I think they would have thought it was because she was black. Because, oh, that's not his thing. Where a predator is a predator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not, I mean, I could get into some other stories about, that cop who was just sexually assaulting black women because he didn't think that anybody was going to believe them. And nobody did believe them.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely, like I said, I agree. I definitely agree with what Jabba said, but I think that, like I said, that's the way I was reading it before the assault.
Right.
As far as like how they were coming at her.
I think they were coming at her just because she was. I don't think that part didn't read racist. That part just read.
We never read New Girl.
New Girl, and also she's the pretty new thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how it didn't read race into it. It read that, and also because of the way she did stand out, because of the way she even said her clothing. She was like, "Oh, you dress like you're on vacation," something like that. And also the fact they thought that she was in nursing school or had been in nursing school. I want to say, like, or nursing academy, like some type of nursing program.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that, and them dumping all that on her. I think in a way they felt like she thought she was better than them because of nursing and everything like that, and now doing this job while she was waiting for the nursing program. I don't know how that was going to work out, seeing how she could not stand aside of blood, which I did not realize. The way she turned around, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. And that was really his door where he was like, now I got you. Now I definitely know what I'm going to do. Not that he didn't have the inclination before, but that he really knew what he could do. If there had been, well, no, I shouldn't even say that. Because I was about to ask about the other seasons, but we're not going to get them, unfortunately, since the show was canceled. In my head, I still think of it as a limited series.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't need all the answers, but I would have liked to know more about. Okay, then this is the last question. What do we think may have been the deal with Mabel's husband?
I don't know. I mean,
because
like
that's weird.
Yeah.
Not weird. I shouldn't say weird, but I was like,
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Refresh my memory real quick.
She had I forget her son's name. He's 16, I want to say 16.
Like Gio.
Gio. Gio. She had but her husband died. But so Gio never met his father. But we don't know how he died, and she never wants to talk about it. There's something there that they were discussing about how she never wants to talk about her husband and how he died. What do we think happened to her husband?
I want to say it's a cover-up.
A cover-up by who?
Probably by her parents. Where they must have got into something. I'm gonna do for like a scenario reference, like I know what you did last summer, scenery. Must have got into an accident. Obviously, the father died or whatever because maybe he had drugs in the car or whatever. I'm just like going over like a whole scenario and maybe the parents are trying to cover it up.
Okay. What do you think, Robert?
For that, I don't know. Like I think because the only clues that we got were her parents saying, her mother specifically saying something about her relationship with Gio, and then Mabel saying that her father, whatever, her husband's father of the child, of her child, they wouldn't even let her go to his funeral, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like it kind of leaves it open. Like I got ideas about other things, but that wasn't one where like my brain could even kind of try to wrap around because they didn't really give too many clues.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point I could be like, shit, he was on some power-ish and he was slinging crack, in the Maldives, and then he met Mabel. He was like, "You want to cook this crack?" So that was they wouldn't have let me write the spinoff of this. But I don't know. But I have ideas about like other, I think, storylines that they possibly would have followed. But yeah,
because that one seemed like the one that they were not giving any type of, well, except like a couple, they weren't giving away a lot for that one at all.
Mm-mm.
None.
And that one I was like, okay, all right. So I mean, look,
or maybe just throw one more in there.
Yes.
Maybe Eleanor found dad is like, oh, you look like so and so, trying to make a collection. Maybe she might kill him off. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there, being very extra. You can leave.
Yeah.
We go home.
All right. Yeah, I
mean, that's better than my crack idea. So,
I mean, the woman had many lives.
I would go with that.
She did lie a lot.
there was a lot of, I think and we'll end out like on this. If what was one theme that you got from this series, in a whole? Because there was a lot there, and I was like, like a lot of it was very thought provoking, and a lot of it did make me think about obviously family and relationships, whether romantic or platonic or familial, anything like there were a lot of themes that were thrown in there. What's one theme that you were able to take away from the series?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Family.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the big thing. Like it was,
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing that stood out to me for good or for bad, and how complex family can be, or family relationships. So yeah. Shout out to Don Toretto, 25th anniversary. Sorry.
I would say culture.
Has it been 25 years?
Since the first one, yeah, they've been
Jesus.
celebrating. God, yeah.
Damn. All right. Sorry. What did you say, Jabba?
I said I would say culture.
Culture, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was very. Yeah, culture, and especially through food, because food is really what can show you. Food and music can really show you of people's culture, because you're taking both of them in. Music, I don't care where you're from, a beat can hit you, or it can totally dismiss you.
Yeah.
Truthfully. And food is something that you take in and nourishes you. And when it's good, it not only nourishes your body, but it nourishes your soul, your being, your whole everything. Like, you ever seen somebody who's got some good food, they got a plate and the food is good and they do a little dance. Like and if you humming while that dance is going on, that's a top shelf plate right there.
Yeah.
And that was the way Mabel talked about food and culture was very beautiful. Even the way, if you know, like once she finds out that she has black, she's looking in the mirror and she's like actually touching her face and her features. That was very interesting to me. Because I think she even said something about her hair at one point. She said, wait, is that why my hair would, she said something to her mother, I think, at a certain point about her hair.
Yeah, I think because like the texture or whatever.
Yeah. And that was very interesting to me. Like, she started noticing the things, and even like the birthmark on her forehead.
Yeah.
Looked at. And it was that, like, that's very interesting to me. Her seeing her identity now. Even though she's been talking about food and cultures, was very interesting. For me, it was truth and secrets, and how destructive a secret can be. Even if you're holding it for the right reason, it can still hurt someone down the line, possibly. So even that, like the secrets and how they welled up, and they were just causing so much pain and drama, and just being very. But once you get to that point, then you can heal, and you're able to find something in yourself and something about the situation that can help you more. Hopefully, what have you. We could do probably about 3 more episodes on this series.
Yeah.
Because I actually want to go back and rewatch. I actually want to go back and rewatch it, just because there's so much there. I won't be doing that tonight, obviously. But yeah, this was like I said, Jabba. I'm very thankful that Jabba picked this, because it's something that I would not have gone through.
Thank you.
Like Rob was saying, this was not at the top of my list. It wasn't. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or negative about it. It just wasn't, because I don't watch these things, because I don't like seeing black people, especially black women, going through it. But it was so engaging. At a certain point, I started like going, okay, well, I can watch another episode. All right, I can watch, and I end up falling asleep, and I'm like, okay, so I got to rewatch it from the beginning. Oh man, so I had to rewatch it because I fell asleep halfway through it, and it was just so good. So thank you for this. I always enjoy different perspectives, and someone recommending something to me that I may not watch or read or even play on my own. But if someone's go, oh, this part is very interesting. So it was very enriching. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to kind of do little things like this summer, just another little thing. So this was Jabba's month, June, and she picked Black Cake on Hulu. Also on Disney Plus, I believe, as well, because they're
Yep.
They're together.
co-mingling and conjoined at some point now. So yes, thank you very much. I recommend going to watch it. It was just very soulful. It was very soulful. It was very, it's not what I expected, and I like that. That's what I like. Yeah, so thank you very much for this, Jabba. But let us know your opinions on it. The book is actually on sale right now on Kindle. If you do Kindle, it's on sale for $2. Yeah, the book. You can also go and check out in the episode description. I have the link for Charmaine Wilkerson's website. She has other books as well going through there. But yeah, this was a very, very much needed watch. I'm going to be honest with you, which I'm watching anime, I'm watching General Hospital, I'm watching all this other stuff, and then I'm watching this grounded story, and I'm like, and I kind of put anime to the side. I put some other things out. I was like, I got to know what's going on with Covey, aka Ellie, because every episode I was like, girl. Every episode there was something that just hit me. So thank you very much for this choice. We'll be back next week. At the end of July. I'm trying to think of what month is after June. July, Robert. It will be Robert's pick for July. And you have picked the 4400, Robert.
The Fofo.
The original series.
Yeah. The original. Yeah, the original first season.
Right. The original first season, which is on Tubi. Or if you have it on DVD, congratulations to you. I don't know. You might. I don't know. It's possible. And then I will be getting August, but I will not be telling mine yet until we get through July, and then we get to Robert's episode for that. But yeah, we'll be back next week. We might just be having a fun round robin episode because we don't have anything planned in particular. So we might just, just talk about, like Jabba's weightlifting prowess and how many Buicks she can pile on each shoulder, which I'm guessing 2 because you strong. You got strumph.
I got strumph. I mean, I could squat 210. Be 210 for 2.
I could spin 210.
I can eat 210. Does that count? No? Okay, cool. So that's been our episode, folks. Thank you so very much for joining us. I hope you have a very safe evening. Weather's going to start getting warmer, so be careful again. Drink water, take your vitamins, take your meds, whether it's for a physical, emotional, or mental ailment. I'm not trying to please you. I just want you to be the best you that you can be. And yeah, there we go. So as for that, I am Anthony Pamars, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room.
It's your girl Jabba Chan with the straight thumbs on the tower.
There you go.
And I'm Rob Jeffrey II, Rob the writer in these video game industries.
Yay. I don't know why I did that. I apologize immediately. I don't know why. It felt every time he says Rob the writer and he says streets, I feel like I need to say yay. And I completely wish I hadn't done it. I apologize for I went out there. I don't know why. I did not. Whoops, that's the wrong president. My that's the wrong speech. I apologize because I did. So have a very good evening. Enjoy the rest of it. We will see you next week. Until then, have fun. Enjoy yourself. And yes, I'm angry, but I will always, well, not always, I will try to say this and be positive. Do a wonderful thing. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Got to hit 2 buttons, Antonio. Got to hit 2 buttons.